Hello and welcome on this beautiful day to our schools, the Adelphia Cable Program featuring the West Seneca Central School District. My name is John Schleifer and I'm the Superintendent of Schools here in West Seneca. For the next 30 minutes, we'll feature a new math program and introduce you to some of our support staff personnel. We're also going to have a little fun with some outdoors activities. In our first segment, you'll meet Beth Ribbeck, a teacher on assignment in the West Seneca school system. Beth is a former teacher in our elementary program and is working with us on everyday math. Beth?
Thank you, Mr. Schleifer. We've had a very exciting year in math this year when we implemented the new everyday math program. It was implemented in KN1, and in September we're going to be implementing it in grade 2. About 10 years ago, the University of Chicago, along with some mathematicians and some teachers and some business people, decided that in order for children to succeed in this technological world, that they are going to need other ways to approach math. So what they did was they conducted a study and they looked at different countries and they decided what was going well for them and what we needed in ours. And as a result, they came out with the everyday math program. In the everyday math program in kindergarten, the calendar time is probably one of the most important times for this math program. That is where the teacher assembles the children and they do not just calendar, but they do weather, they do tailing, they do days of the week, they do odd and even numbers. They also are doing counting by 2s, 5s, and 10s. In Amy Purdy's room, you'll see an example of this, of how well the children have adapted to the program and how quickly they're learning.
5 pennies in a nickel, 2 nickels in a dime, 5 nickels in a quarter, you'll know it every time. Pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters. Pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters.
Very, very good.
The everyday math program in kindergarten uses a lot of games so that the children can experience the math concepts and learn math concepts through a less threatening way, and they can also learn the concepts at their own pace. The children have fun with the games. They don't even realize at times that they're doing math, and we also do a lot of singing. We do a lot of activities in small group, large group. It's a spiral curriculum where the concepts are introduced many at the same time, but in a very simple way, and then we add on to them. Unlike in the past where we would have a whole unit on just adding and a whole unit on subtraction, we do adding and subtraction within the same week, and we do measuring within the same week. But then the following week, revisit that concept, and we just maybe add to it. So at the beginning of the year, the kids may be just looking and playing with measuring sticks, rulers, but by the end, they're actually measuring with a centimeter ruler.
Let's see, who can count by 2s up to 30?
I can do it.
Who can count by 2s? Andrew?
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30.
Excellent job. What's another name for counting by 2s? We also call it skip counting by 2s, because in our head we count that number that we don't say, right? Excellent job. Okay, hands down.
Children are able to count up to 100 more quickly than they were in the past because it's something we do every day, and it is something they enjoy doing, whether it's because we're doing it with a song or they're dancing at the same time that they're saying it, or they're clapping their hands. They can count by 10s up to 100. They can count by 5s up to 100 by December. And I noticed that this skill was not always acquired so quickly in the past. I have really enjoyed doing the everyday math program this year with the kindergartners, and I look forward to finding out what the first grade teachers think about how well prepared they are, and because they've already gone through the program, that many of them will be able to do the concepts or do the skills or have the skills and the concepts that they may not have had last year when they came into first grade. I think they are able to attack math problems and concepts more quickly than they could before, and I noticed that children are more excited about math than they have ever been.
Another good part of this program is the fact that it addresses New York State standards, and especially the 7 key ideas for the math. You'll see that almost every lesson addresses at least 2 or 3 parts of the key ideas. As teacher on assignment this year, I've been able to go into the classrooms of the kindergarten and first grade teachers, and I've noticed what a wonderful job they have done implementing this program. I think that their philosophy is probably the same as what I felt, that we are teaching the children for their future and not for our past.
Our Pupil Service Department offers many different areas to help our students learn and be productive members of our community. Occupational therapy is one of those areas. Jan Nowak can tell you more about occupational therapy.
Hi, I'm Jan Nowak. I'm an occupational therapist at West Seneca Schools. I'm part of the support services here at West Seneca Schools, and I work with kids to help them work to their maximal ability, be that in fine motor skills, visual perceptual skills, gross motor skills, and even some with sensory integration. I was involved with a class over at West Elementary where I've been involved at least once a week for this whole school year, where we ended up the year by doing an extra fun project the other day, which was making paper airplanes, but it incorporated a lot of the activities we had been doing all year round. Part of that was coloring, learning different words like what is patriotic, what is precision, and we used all those words in trying to get them to make the paper airplanes. We did coloring, cutting exactly, which takes in a lot of fine motor skills, and then we had to do some folding, and our folding project had little tiny dotted lines, which some found very easy to do, but others found quite a challenge because it wasn't just a straight dotted line, and they had to make sure that it was accurate to have accuracy and try to win their contest. Term push-in is when someone goes into the classroom and works along with the teacher or the teacher's aides or whoever are in the classroom to accent or support their program and what they're already doing. Sometimes we work side by side, sometimes, I do the whole class, sometimes they do the class with me going around and making sure things are positioned correctly or the child is doing it correctly. In most cases, we do mutual planning where we sit down and decide what fits best in with the curriculum they're doing.
You know what I want you to do? I'm going to put this tape on the floor. That means toes don't go over the floor. And we're going to fly the plane one at a time, and we're going to see whose can go the furthest. Okay? Now, some people may choose to try to aim it so it goes out of the door. That happened in one class, went out the door and into the next classroom. Okay? So I'm going to put the tape down. Matt, would you like to be first?
When the planes were all done, we tried to make it fun and make it a reason why they had to go through all those tasks, so we had a little contest. We had, part of the contest was, of course, who could cut the best, color the best, did it most patriotic, most colorful, but we also had then the flying contest on who could fly it the furthest, who could do the best stunts, who could land it the best. And each one of those is a difficult task for some kids, first of all, to take turns and not want to do it first. Not want to take 2 turns because theirs didn't go the furthest or didn't land where they wanted it to. And it also takes some eye-hand coordination to figure how could I sail it into the hall to get it to go the furthest, or how hard should I throw this plane so it actually will land on the table rather than shoot at the ceiling or go into the fish tank. The additional reason why I push into the classroom is I hate children to be pulled out of the classroom for therapy because they miss all the academics. By pushing in, they're not missing their academics. I'm incorporating a lot of the therapy techniques into the classroom, maybe using the same curriculum the teachers are using. And it gives me the opportunity to show the teachers the therapy session, and then they are able to follow through on a daily basis, not just on the half-hour basis that the child's pulled out of the classroom. My goal as an occupational therapist in West Seneca Schools is to make each child able to work at their maximum ability, be it in school or in the workplace. I like them to feel comfortable with who they are so they can be as successful as they are able to be in whatever situation they're put in.
It was tough, but our decision's made. Okay. Okay. Run and catch. Jennifer. Congratulations. Precision coloring. Dawn. Most colorful. Brandon. Run and catch. We had a few of those, didn't we? Dylan. Most patriotic.
Please, look at my interior.
Well, I didn't check out your interior. Kevin! Best construction. This was really hard because it was so hard to put it together.
Speech therapy is another department which offers services to our students. Sarah Kasprzyk and Sue Gawrys are both speech therapists here in West Seneca. They're going to share a little bit more about that service that we provide.
Hello, I'm Sarah Kasprzyk, a speech-language pathologist here in the West Seneca School District, and I'm here today to talk about how speech therapy is an integral part of our goal in education today to get children challenged in reading and writing and to meet the goals of the state in terms of education for our children. Currently, in the West Seneca School District, the speech-language pathologists are screening the incoming kindergartners for speech and language delays, and what they're looking at is the children's development in terms of language skills, expressing themselves, understanding vocabulary, and how well they articulate what they'd like to say, and identifying any children that would be at risk for those skills. What the children do when they come in for a screening is to sit down with a therapist in a one-on-one session, and the therapist tries to make them comfortable and feel willing to talk maybe about themselves for a few minutes, and then take a standardized test instrument that only lasts approximately 3 to 5 minutes. That test asks them to label common objects, possibly using appropriate grammar. Do they say is and are appropriately? Do they put S's on the end of words when they mean more than one? And how well they articulate words and sentences. Can they make all the sounds that are appropriate for the age of a 4 or 5-year-old? And those are the things we're looking at pretty much as they come into kindergarten. Because those skills are the foundation for later reading and writing, we need to take a look early on if those children are at risk at all for developing those foundation basic skills.
Natalie, come on up. Pick a farm animal. Pick anyone you want. Look through.
I'm not looking.
Don't show anyone the picture. Say the sounds. Okay, let's listen to Natalie. Call on a friend.
Nicole. Cat.
Was it the cat? There it is. Yeah. Nice work. Nicole, your turn. And then you'll have a turn too, Rebecca.
Speech therapy addresses articulation errors. That would be substituting one sound for another. For instance, children that lisp or have an R distortion, or what are called phonological process errors, which is a more serious articulation delay. We also work with children that have language difficulties. That would be the understanding and use of spoken language, both listening and speaking with language. We work with children that have auditory processing delays as well. Some children have congenital problems such as cleft palate, cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, so we work with the developmentally delayed as well. Whenever we would begin one of our kindergarten PALS groups, we always wanted to incorporate literature. So the first thing that we would do when we entered the classroom was introduce a piece of literature and read it to the children. If we were working on The Very Busy Spider, then of course we would be using farm animals as our target words for a sound blending activity. One idea I had is to have the children model that they would be holding rubber bands and stretching them out to hear the sounds of the words. For instance, cat would be k, a, t. And it really separates the sounds so that they can identify each individual sound in the word. And of course, when it comes time for spelling, they can do that same thing. When they need to spell the word cat, they could hold up their imaginary rubber band, k, a, t, and then write each of those sounds as well.
Being a speech-language pathologist in the West Seneca School District is both challenging and rewarding at the same time. It's wonderful to see the children make progress. To be able to give a child a diploma when they graduate from speech therapy is exciting for both the child and the therapist. We work very hard to get the children's skills up to where they should be and to enable them to go back into their classroom and benefit from being there. No longer need to be pulled out and given extra help, but to give them the skills that they need. And here in West Seneca, we really try to reach as many children as we can.
It has been tremendously rewarding working in this position, as I would see children at a young age, sometimes for 1 year, sometimes for 3 or 4 years, and then as I pass them in the hall and see their confidence in their speaking and sentence structure, they just really want to share with me what they've learned. I've also had the opportunity to run into some of our graduates working in the community at Tops, at Market in the Square, or just enjoying a visit to the Bison's game, and they always come and introduce themselves to me and say, "Remember me." Of course I do, and it's just a wonderful feeling to see how they've grown and developed.
Our nursing staff, led by Nora Kreipel, is a group of professionals that care for your children every day. Your school nurse's office has changed over the years and is not just cuts and Band-Aids. Let's speak with a few of our school nurses and get the real story.
With the passage of the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act from 1997, the scope of new school nursing has changed dramatically. The West Seneca Central School nurses cover approximately 9,221 students in both the public and parochial schools. We administer approximately 155 daily medications and 290 PRN meds, which means when necessary, like inhalants or aspirins for juvenile migraines. There are an estimated 65,000 to 77,000 first aids that occur in school. We perform or supervise daily catheterizations, trach care, and blood sugars. All students receive vision exams. Entering and transfer students also are screened for near, plus, and color vision. Hearing is done. There's scoliosis screening from 3rd grade up. Immunizations are mandated. Physicals are state mandated for kindergarten, 1st, 3rd, 7th, and 10th. But healthcare management is only a part of our professional responsibilities. Today's health office sees a nurse that is often administering meds, providing screenings, first aids, consulting with a parent on the phone regarding any health concerns, writing up healthcare plans, and interpreting the health needs only to the appropriate need-to-know personnel or staff. We serve on committees. We develop procedures and provide for crisis intervention. We serve as resource people. We counsel students with chronic health conditions such as asthma. Part of the duties of the school nurse is to make sure that when children enter school, that we're well aware of what their conditions are, what the nursing and medical implications are for their care, their educational care, and for their nursing care.
Diabetes plays a large part of my role as an elementary school nurse. Most children are diagnosed when they're in early elementary ages, anywhere from kindergarten up. These children have to be monitored daily for their blood sugars, as well as watching their diets and watching for signs and symptoms of highs and lows. During the day, the children come down, and every day during the day they are tested before lunch to have their blood sugars tested so that we can decide how much of a lunch they're going to actually have or how well the insulin has acted during the day. During the day also, we have to make sure that the children don't exhibit symptoms of either having a too high blood sugar or a too low blood sugar. They're supposed to bring an extra snack with them every day, especially in their backpack. That way, if they're on the bus and they feel that shaky low, they know enough that they have to have that. That is very important for them. because if their blood sugar does drop below 40, which it can, they will become incoherent, they can become unconscious, and it can be very, very life-threatening. And also we have, every day we have them test, like I said, their blood sugar, and their blood sugar, they have a glucometer that they bring to me every day, and I call the mom with the results so she can regulate the insulin for the later that day that they get at dinner time. If their blood sugar is over 240, we have to have a urine sample so that we can test their blood for ketones, so that we can call mom and let them know if they need extra insulin that day. It's very important that if they're having insulin in their urine, that they need insulin right then and there, so that they don't have any side effects later in life.
The responsibilities of the elementary school nurse is the fact that also while these children become adolescents and go and enter 7th grade or middle school ages, then we have to make sure that all these are current, all the care plans are current, and that these conditions are available and known to the nurse who is at the middle school level. In this case, Northwood goes to East Middle, and that would be Mrs. Debbie Christofik, who is a school nurse at that level.
Here at West Seneca East Middle, one of my roles as a nurse is to be the facilitator of the Child Study Team Committee. At West Seneca East Middle, we have now changed the name of the Child Study Team Committee to Teacher's Assistant Team. Our team gets together on Monday mornings at 8:10 to review children that may be running into an academic risk. And I would receive referrals. Referrals come from teams. Our school is broken up into teams, 7th and 8th grade teams. An example would be Voyager or Enterprise or Freedom. If they had a student that needed to be evaluated and also needed some strategies from the team, we would be able to review this case. They would fill out a referral form. It would come down to my office. I would then photocopy it and then place it into the team's box so that everybody would be prepared for our meeting. That would give the teachers enough time to review from their notes or pull report cards or look at parent conferences, so everybody's on the same page when we get together. The purpose of this committee is to evaluate concerns such as truancy, academic difficulties, behavioral discords, family discord, or whatever the referral deems to be significant. As I said, referrals should be made before the point of crisis for the student. The teacher assistant team then makes suggestions and creates an action plan for teachers. What I've tried to stress as being the facilitator for the child study team is to have excellent open lines of communication with the teacher. My role on this committee is to be the mediator. I work very closely with this multidisciplinary approach. So once a student is assigned down to us for us to review, I would make sure that whoever referred this student down, that we'd have great communication back of the strategies. Not only is my role a facilitator, and also I'm an advocate for students, but another role that I play is for medical concerns. Children that are brought to the table that we need to evaluate may be on medications. I may be seeing them for situations of attention deficit. I may be seeing them for behavioral concerns, emotional concerns. So again, that is my role. I would be able to bring the health record to the table, open it up, and see when they're evaluating students if there's been some other medical or emotional concerns. That's where my role takes place. I think what a real bonus for me is not only serving on this committee, but following through. And at West Seneca East Middle, I'm with these students for 7th and 8th grade. And when I check that West Seneca B to check out for high honors and the merit roll, I always lean into West Seneca East Senior because that's our school where these children travel to. And I kind of skim down the list, and I do see some children that we've played an integral part in their life. And it really warms my heart to see that they are on high honors and they are on the merit roll and they're doing great. And I know that we've made a difference in their life. That's extremely rewarding.
Education is not confined to just the classroom. The children at our East Elementary School learned this firsthand with a trip to the Charles Burchfield Nature and Arts Center here in West Seneca. The students had a day of fresh air, learning, and a lot of fun.
I'm a member of the PTA at East Elementary. This year, in honor of our celebration day and end of the year celebration that we have, half of our day was spent here at the Burchfield Nature and Arts Center in West Seneca. and the other half of the day the children are back at school, but gave our children the opportunity to come and see this beautiful new park in West Seneca. There are 3 areas of the park the children will be visiting. Up at the gallery, they'll be learning about who Charles Burchfield is, his life, his work, talking about him and all his great accomplishments in the art field. But they're also planting and leaving a beautiful reminder of their day here in the East Elementary Flower Garden, and leave behind a beautiful sign of their day. AmeriCorps is here working with the children along the bank of the creek, where they're using their science lessons to learn about the nature and the water, and test the water itself with a water testing kit, and to learn about some of the critters that live in the creek.
Today my job was to share with the children water quality, water conservation, and the importance of everybody being a steward of the creek and protecting it. I shared with them the different tests that we're able to do to test the water quality, whether it's the oxygen content, bacteria content, and today I shared with them the acid content, the pH level, on a scale of 1 to 11, with 7 being a perfect number for the content.
Hi, today we have the West Seneca schools here at Burchfield Nature and Arts Center, and we're proud to be housed here at the Burchfield Nature and Arts Center. We have AmeriCorps members today out providing traffic control, safety from the stream, helping with water testing, and showing water testing today. We're here every day making sure this park stays beautiful for the town residents. East Elementary, it's the first time we had a whole school on site today. Staff was a little anxious. We have the entire school came in 2 shifts. We're excited. I think everyone had a good time. We had no incidents, and we're hoping to do more schools, more whole schools, because I think it brings them a common language in school to talk about nature and the arts.
Each of the children was given a journal, a gift from the PTA when they came into the park. The docents then led our children in what's called sound mapping. It's where they listen for sounds in their environment, and then they map that out. And that can be done with as young as kindergarten and all the way up to 6th grade. Children were asked to close their eyes for about 10 seconds, then open them and draw or write what they might have heard. The children were led through the trails by docents who guided them and taught them about Charles Burchfield's house, which you can see from the trails, the different plants we have in the field, and also trees, and they also got a look at the Ebenezer Cemetery. We're here at a wonderful time of the year because upcoming is the 1-year anniversary of the park. What we have throughout the park are sculptures to celebrate the 1-year anniversary, so the children got to look at these unique sculptures as they visited today.
You need to protect the environment, so that's why they built this walkway. As you walk around a little further, if you came around, you come to
This is a great new opportunity for children in West Seneca to come to the park that's in their own backyard, learn about nature, learn about science, and learn about art. It's something they can visit with their parents. It's open from dawn to dusk, and it's a great opportunity for fun.
Thank you for watching this edition of Our Schools. We hope you're having an enjoyable and safe summer, and look forward to seeing you all in the fall. Take care. Have a good summer.